My name is Dean Balsamo. I'm a writer, a father, a traveler, and going to Egypt was a lifelong dream, in particular Cairo. I have to say I had all kinds of expectations around the mystical elements, going to see the pyramids and soaking up the ancient lore of an ancient place. I found the experience a little different. We didn't take a tour. There was nothing organized beforehand. If you compare it to Istanbul, Istanbul is like a theme park compared to Cairo. Cairo's like the amusement park ride going off the rails. So there's an added thrill because from one moment to the next, there's always this sense of what's going to happen. And in one case, after we exited the cab and we began to walk towards the pyramid, the two tourist police, noted by their white uniforms, came out of their little hut to join us. We weren't in a position to wave them off because they were carrying their Kalashnikovs by the barrels. And they began to walk us behind the pyramid and finally asked us to start posing for pictures, where they took our cameras and took pictures of us with other pyramids in the background, and then we had to give them money. But that is part of the adventure when you're treating Cairo as we did, raw. We gave a name to our trip, Cairo Raw, which really sums up our approach to our visit, which was to experience it firsthand without any filters. Interestingly, the driver took us to a school for orphans who are taught the traditional art of weaving rugs. And that was, in a typical Egyptian tradition, a negotiation. And I have to say my son was a lot better at it than I was. The rugs that we acquired also went to educate young orphans in Egypt. So that was unexpected and a very fulfilling transaction. I created a magazine just on the graffiti and the tagging we saw in Cairo. The people would not let the government overpaint them. And so we made it a point, my son and I, to photograph many of the pieces that we saw around Cairo. Hardly a day goes by where I'm not thinking of something that happened, something I saw, something I experienced. It was one of the high points of my life, just because it had been a dream I had nourished for so long. And I hope that someday to return.